Welcome back to Morning Cafe. From politics, we mellow down now. We talk about relationships, secrets in relationships. In studio with me, I have Dr. Jane and Dr. Julius Kimani, who are relationship experts. Karibu sana to the studio.
Thank you so much.
So, now, the other segment we were talking about politics, and you know, even in politics, there are relationships, and we have all these secrets in relationships. What do you think, and I'll start with you, Dr. Julius, what do you think forces couples to keep secrets amongst themselves?
Now, there are many factors, Munene, that will cause a lot of couples to probably shut down and not share what is going on in their lives. But one of the major ones is the fear. You know, I think so many people are afraid of being, maybe destabilizing a relationship. They feel like maybe there's already peace in that relationship, and the piece of secret may begin to destabilize that relationship. So you find somebody may decide to be quiet over that issue because they know probably if they speak it out, it may bring an end to the session of peace or a moment of peace that they've been enjoying in that relationship. Another one, of course, is the fear of being left. You know, there are people, probably you know your partner. If they discover something that you had not told them, their reaction would be so hostile that they can even chase you out of a relationship. So they are basically the major ones are fears of either the unknown, what may happen beyond the place of revealing the relationship, or the fear of just being left, or maybe now destabilizing the peace that you're enjoying at the current moment. Yes.
Dr. Jane, do you think there's some value that comes with keeping some part of your life private to your partner or even a family member? Because I read somewhere that you have the right to privacy in any relationship. Do you think there's some value that comes with that?
Okay, yes and no, based on what is being kept private, because again, your life is not a book for everybody to read. You get it? Whether it's the good, whether it is not so good, I don't believe everybody has a right of interest to read your life. So, but when it comes to partners and relationships, at the end of the day, secrets don't last for too long. And especially when there was a second party involved, it never lasts forever. In many cases, you hear of people saying, you've been married for 20 years. I just got to discover my wife had done this while we were still in the relationship. Or my husband had done this while we were still in the relationship. Because somehow, secrets have got a lifespan. They've got a lifespan. And if it is, then I keep saying, there is no secret between two people. If whatever happened there was a second party, it is not a secret. Truth be told, it is not a secret. Not unless it's between you and yourself, and the maker and the baker. God and the devil. You, the three of you, are just the witnesses. Otherwise, if there is another human party, it is not a secret. And one day, one time, it will just it will just blow up. It will just blow up. And I say, things that happen within the relationship would rather not be kept a secret. Okay. Within the relationship. If you're talking of life before the relationship, you've got a right to your own privacy. Okay. You've got a right of disclosure. You can decide this amount of information I'll disclose, this I will not. Okay. But while in marriage, I think relationships get healthier when there are no guards. Because the relationships keep, especially men, men, they have a lot of guards at times, and it gives a lot of anxiety, psychosomatic illnesses. Somebody told me, what? I'm having, it was actually an insulin imbalance. Why? Because of anxiety. What about if my wife ever discovers I had an affair with the secretary? Well, you'd rather tell her and get healed and deal with the issue and move on.
Okay, so and I'm coming back to both of you right now, but I want our viewers to interact with us. Our SMS line is 22047. You can also call in live 0768095491. At this juncture, it is important to mention that you're a couple.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Julius, do you know everything about Dr. Jane?
I would say probably 90%. Of course, there are some things, you know, unless you prod deeper, there are things probably you will never know. And that's what actually sometimes keeps a marriage interesting. When there are things that are mysterious in the other person. But the main things, you know, like the past. You know, I know she doesn't have a baby.
Yeah.
Because there are people who definitely, after you've been married for a long time, then you see, unaletewa kijana. Naambiwa this one was, the young man.
Na mke wako.
Like
this is my small brother.
For a long time. Then kijana maybe gets tired once I say, mimi nimechoka. Sasa sitarudi kuita assistant, kuita mami. Then you discover things have changed. Now, so we try to be as much open as you can, because any secret, let me tell you, it begins to eat on you. And it takes a lot of work to keep a secret. Because if it is, especially if there is a lie, you see now, if you lie today, you have to remember exactly what you said yesterday. So you have to repeat it today.
Yeah.
And eventually it takes tolls on you, it bothers you. And of course, as she was saying, there are things in the past that must be exposed. Some are not necessary. Assuming you killed like 50 people, you don't have to tell somebody you killed. Now, assuming you became a changed person.
Well, but you don't think it's necessary to disclose such?
You may disclose some things. If you became a changed person, there are things that you may weigh and say, this is not necessary. Like now, all the fights you used to have in primary school or in high school, now you begin to share all of them. Maybe now your wife may begin to look at you and begin to wonder, what kind of person are you? But you see, things to do with children, you cannot keep them a secret. When you're coming into a marriage, you need to tell your wife or you need to tell your husband, I have this number of kids. Things to deal with sickness. Maybe you have a certain condition. You know, there are people who never say about, let's say, mental illnesses. So suddenly somebody is acting in a very crazy way, but they never told you. They never said that they have a mental condition. I think diseases are very important to speak out, because it may happen and somebody may not know how to deal with it. And then later they discover actually your family knew, but you were never told. I think that's not a secret to keep.
Well, over to you, Dr. Jane. You've said, and I'm not really sure you're the expert on this, you said that this problem about keeping secrets mostly is with men. You've even given a practical example of someone who's telling you about their insulin imbalance for having an affair with the secretary. What if sometimes men keep these to protect their partners, probably not to hurt them?
You are better at protecting if you don't do the wrong. There is better protection. However, a lot of the problems, the secrets that women are having in this generation now, almost equaling men, because especially investments. Yeah, investments. There are a lot of women, especially from a certain community that has women known for hard work. And I thank God for every community. That one I won't name. Yeah. We've had a lot of cases where the man got to realize that the neighboring house where the woman used to go and admire was actually her house. And gets to know many years later. What these things do is that they break the trust. If you think you're protecting somebody by keeping something secret, yes, they may hurt a person, but let me tell you, there's something intuitive about women. There's something intuitive. And this intuition tells you when something went wrong, when something goes wrong. And it will remain in you. And it would rather be confirmed, because at the end of the day, it kind of like broke trust just by intuition. You know what? It's not every lady or every incident of a lady that makes a woman feel like, there is something there. No, but there could be one that made somebody feel, that's not right. And a man may protect by saying no to shield you, but the facts on the ground are too many. Does it shield you? No. What it does, you begin to build walls. Because now trust has already developed a crack. Okay. And again, I say, between two people, there's never a secret. So one day, one time in this life, it will leak out. Yeah.
Well, wow. Dr. Julius, you want to react to that?
No, it is true. You know, the moment you discover your partner is dishonest of an issue, and especially like what we've mentioned about investments, probably you discover that maybe your wife has been investing money in land or in other things and she never tells you. You begin now to wonder what else could be there, and why would that be happening? Because we have seen cases where people, I think we had a case where some ladies are organizing themselves. The moment they hit 50, they get out of the country. And they say that maybe they are going for shopping, but they have already gotten passports. They have already prepared another life outside another country. And a man realizes that the wife actually left. So you see, it begins to put a question mark. Is this person secure with you? And if they are not secure with you, then why are they not telling you? So it can bring a lot of issues when you have, and it's both way. When you find men are hiding their investments and women are hiding investments. You know, the good book says that both Adam and Eve were naked and they were not ashamed. That means if there is something that you are ashamed of telling your partner, then you need to work on your relationship in getting into a deeper level of intimacy. That means you don't know each other and there is something that you don't trust the other person. And when they discover that there was something they were hiding, that trust that was not already there becomes even, mistrust becomes even bigger.
Dr. Jane has mentioned about women from a certain community, which she's declined to mention, who were known for working hard. And my director tells me there was this incident of a guy who was paying rent that totaled to around 40 million shillings. And after it had amounted to that much is when now he came to know that actually I've been paying my wife to stay in this house. So we've already reached at that level. So what next?
But you see now, you know, at times also look at it from this perspective. Perhaps there was a loan and another loan and another loan. And perhaps this man did not want to take the loan to build the house. You get my point? No, I'm not for the idea of you living in a house and then you later realize it was your wife's house. No, because that is actually not marriage in the first place. But I look at situations where you ask yourself, one person could be strong on risk. There is a risk taker. And the other one is not a risk taker. So if the risks are to be taken and later on you realize they all came back to your house, I think there isn't a very bad issue on that. However, when it came to that case, because that one now actually got the man actually very sick because of the shock, it's important to also get to understand, why did she do that? And for how long? Because if it was to pay up some money that the woman wanted, and the money has been paid up perhaps for loans, then would it have been that her investment, the husband does not contribute? Or what was the reason? You know, these things are deep. My friend, they are very deep.
Okay.
They are very deep because there are issues where, and I thank God for the men we have, they are good men. But there are some men, when they've got a woman who has got some property, will not work. And they'll not put anything into that account, into that house. Perhaps that money went into educating their children. That money went into paying more for this and the other. So the question is, what did they do with this money? Was the man a faithful gentleman in that home? Was the man coactive when it comes to finances? Am I saying what she did is right? No, it was wrong. But I want to wonder what motivated her to do that, because it's not normal. There has to be a motivation. And perhaps she was afraid the man has a shungwa. So that's even another.
Dr. Julius, all the blame seems to be going to men.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on that?
I said she didn't do the right thing, but why?
No, I think men are very good at keeping secrets. We've had cases where maybe a lady discovers. Like we had a case where, for example, the lady is saying that he discovered the man was paying rent and upkeep for other two families. And this is after a very long time. He discovers the guy is always broke. So, and he earns good money. So he checks out on loans. Eventually he discovers he's actually paying for 2 homes. When he confronted, now that's when the guy said, I've actually had children before with 2 women. So that's what I've been paying for. And this was all kept a secret. So you find, as I said from the beginning, it is the fear. Some people are so afraid that if I reveal this thing, I really want to marry this lady. But if I reveal this thing that I have, maybe a child, she may not accept me. So that keeps it away, but it doesn't work. Again, you find probably somebody has started a relationship, and this relationship has gotten out of hand, where probably the man thought, after a while, after I've had my fun, then this girl will just walk away. And then now maybe the lady begins to blackmail. I will call your wife. And now the guy looks at the situation, he still wants to keep his family. And now he begins to work out secrets to protect his family. And that usually does not work out well. I would rather say that you come up to your wife and you tell your wife, now this has happened, and ask for forgiveness. Because, as I said, the more you keep on piling, hiding, eventually you can't hide what is living. A lady, one thing I've always discovered by Munene, no man will call a woman, another man, and say, do you know, I'm having a relationship with your wife. They will not. But there is no woman on this earth who will want to be kept a secret forever. Nafika tu mahali atapigia bibi. Anasema hapana, tuko wawili. So I think that's where now the challenge with men are, that they don't realize that ladies do not want to be kept a secret.
Okay.
They will want to come out. But a man knows, if I reveal myself that I'm having a relationship with another man's wife, most likely the other guy may kill him. So they prefer to go under.
So, and I'll stay with you. It's interesting that you've spoken about that, but there's always this raging debate, and I don't think, I think it's at a tie right now about men and women cheating. They say that women cheat more, but they're just more careful.
I think women, by the time she has made up her mind to cheat, they do their mathematics very well. Very well. And they can do it so far and cover their steps so well. And men are not created with that intuition, like a deep. There's like a thing women say they feel. Emotionally, we are a bit dull. So you find before you pick out the emotion that this woman is cheating, it may take long. But you see, men are created like risk takers. I remember one man who used to say that he has a date in a very open place, in a very open restaurant, because he wants to show the wife that like nothing is happening. But he's actually having a very serious relationship. But that was actually the trouble. Because he's taking men are risk takers. They want to do things that sometimes create a thrill when they are. In fact,
they're such risk takers that they'll even try, some of them, not all men, yeah? They'll even try to have an affair with their housemate. And the wife is in the same house.
Wow.
It's just a thrill of risk.
There's an excitement about risk that men, you see the way the men drive on the road. The excitement of just overtaking very carelessly. But the excitement is actually not overtaking carelessly. It is that thrill of just making it before you hit the other car. And so that is the same thing that continues with men in many relationships. And unfortunately, many are discovered. And some of them continue to lie, to say it was not a relationship, and actually it can be seen so directly. So what you're simply saying is that any secret that you try to keep in a marriage will always ruin that marriage. But the moment you open up to your partner and you begin to tell your partner the truth, actually they realize, when you speak the truth, your wife or your husband suddenly discovers that probably you need help in that area. They see a weakness that they can be able to cover you. And you find that person, when somebody comes up and says, I have this weakness, the other person sees that you have begun to open up, and you may find that they're actually supporting you more than you would have expected. I have seen men who have told their wives they were having a relationship, and they really want to stop it. And because they are being chased by the other lady to threatening to be exposed, by the moment they come and tell up their wife that this is happening, you find now the wife joins the man now to fight off that other lady. But all that time they were afraid of saying the truth because they thought probably it will not work out. So I would say in marriages, secrets rarely will work.
Well, hold that thought there. We are going to take a very short break, but we will be back. We're talking about secrets in relationships. Remember, you can interact with us. Our SMS line is 22047. You can call in live 0768095491. That is 0768095491. I think the director has the number right there on the screen. Our Twitter handle is at TV47KE, at Eric_Mnene. The hashtag is Morning Cafe TV47. Keep it here.
Entrepreneurs around the country are creatively grinding.
I started with a borrowed phone.
A borrowed phone?
Yeah, that could last 2 hours with charge.
We just have to do quality work for them.
To make their mark in an unpredictable market.
It was now going on a sales venture, looking for stockists, door to door.
On the grind, we bring you their stories so you can tell yours. Every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Men are known to be the pillars.
We're rising up together.
Say your point.
You need an alpha male now to come and help you and your girl.
Ameongea zero.
And women, they are the cornerstone that hold the pillars.
Don't be entitled. A man is peaceful, a man knows how to talk to a lady.
This November, the Men's Conference brings a cocktail of diverse ladies to weigh in on various matters.
Something I'd love more to see is men being able to exist as themselves.
Tune in every Wednesday at 10 p.m.
Hello guys, and welcome to Night In with Joy Irungu. Joy Irungu.
Heartbreak, pain, and tears have been a major part of Night In Season 1. We thank you for being with us on this journey, and for this upcoming season, we will bring you more empowering stories that not everyone is talking about.
This is the only show where we keep it authentic. We share our lifetime experiences, and you know what? Tell every person that you can turn your pain into power.
Join Joy Irungu on Night In as we take the brave step of sharing.
The road to 2022 is becoming tougher.
Nyuma ya wheelbarrow kuna economic model.
And trickier with each passing day.
Niliwaambia washushe chini bei ya mafuta.
Political aspirants in a dilemma whether to change allegiance or not.
How has Raila and the handshake made Jubilee lose focus?
You've seen Raila Odinga flying military choppers.
Our people have never been called to Uhuru Park to unite. They have already made.
Welcome back to Morning Cafe. We're talking about secrets in relationships. Our SMS line is 22047. You can also interact with us by calling us live on 0768095491. I'm in studio with a couple, and they are also relationship experts, Dr. Jane and Dr. Julius Kimani. Dr. Jane, what are some of the things that people in a relationship can be economical with? The truth that they can be economical with. What to say, what not to say.
All right. Once they're in a relationship, they can choose to be economical or edit. Some of them edit the truth. They make it brief. And I tell them, just edit information. Because at times, for example, a lady is getting married and they're about to get married, and so they come for counseling. And the gentleman will keep insisting, who have you been with before? That is if she has been with a man before. And she'll say, they were there in my past. And the man will want to know, give me the names and give me who is whose. I tell them, just edit it. Simple fact, one sentence were there in my past, they're no longer in my present. I'm heading to a new future. Vice versa, the same for the man. I don't think the woman needs to prod so much in what may cause distrust, because perhaps one of them could be your neighbor. And the lady now will keep checking at that neighbor and thinking, And you see, it will bring a lot of distrust. So I tell them, just edit it, let the truth be just edited. One sentence, they were there, they're in my past, we're heading to our future. That is it. And I've cut short. I've cut off my past ties, and now I'm heading to a new future. So those are some of the things that need to be edited, but you can never edit the fact that perhaps you have a baby in the village with your mom, who perhaps you're training to call you auntie. And I tell ladies, the first moment this guy gives you a date, and he looks like he's interested to prod a bit into your life, let him know there is a child. Let him know there is a child. Let him know you're not alone. And I keep saying, children, once they are born, they're not a baggage, no, they're a blessing. Let them know, I'm with this blessing bundle of joy, and this is what happened, and you're no longer together with the father. And it's also happening with men. A lot of men have got their children, nowadays they are baby daddies. Yeah, I hope you're not one. So they are baby daddies, and with the baby daddies, it is important to say, I take care of this child, I pick them during the holiday, I do this, I take care of their school fees from day one. That is not an edited truth. It has to be that way. Let us get to know what happened between you and this partner as a relationship is progressing. What happened? Let it be so honest. This is exactly what happened. This is a full stop. Because if you're not very honest, the other person may fear you may go back to the relationship. So it needs to create trust and truth. So those facts need to be placed on the table. This is what happened. It has been over for how long? Any communication, lay it clean. So that when your partner is joining you, perhaps to join together with the family, because that's already a family or a blended family, you need to know facts on the ground. How much money do you support the child with if it's a man? If it's a woman, does the dad support? Would you want the dad still in the life of this child as a man? So those are facts and truths. That these are just a few of them. They are very basic. But I want to challenge you as a man. Would you want your wife or your girlfriend to know your salary?
You're asking me that on
Yes.
Yeah, no, there's no problem in that.
So the answer is yes?
Yeah.
All right.
I might change the answer after the show, though. So Dr. Julius, Dr. Julius, so we are past that, that stage of revealing secrets to your partner, and the past things that probably hurt either of the people in that relationship. So what next after that?
You see, there are situations that you look at and ask yourself again, why did this person hide this information from you? Were they trying to take advantage of you? Or are they doing it out of fear of losing you? And now, when you discover that maybe this person really liked you or loved you so much, and they thought that by telling you some of the secrets, they will lose you, I think those are things now you can look for a counselor and you work out on building the trust and relationship. But if the information was hidden to take advantage of you, then I think that is something that one needs to be careful about, because there are people who will come into someone's life because they see a potential and they see an opportunity and they want to take advantage of that person's either wealth or connections, and that's all they are in. Then you discover probably it was what they were pretending to be love. It was not real love. And I think that's where now you may come to terms, and maybe if you're not married, you decide this person will not continue being with. But if you discover weaknesses, there is no human being on this earth who does not have weaknesses. And I think that is one area that many relationships don't want to look at. They don't want to look at the weaknesses of that person. They just want to see the strength. You know, everybody who is dating will always put their best step forward. So, but probably these people have weaknesses, and everybody has got weaknesses.
Yeah.
And when you discover that person's weakness and you support that weakness, you will find out that the long of it all, that you'll have earned more trust. Then they know that they can be able to tell you more, because there are people who are looking for someone that they can be able to share their past pains and their past wounds with their partners, and they're just looking for a place they can be able to lean on. And so if you can be that person, I think you become a person who can be trusted, and the relationship even gets to a notch higher. There are people who are dying on the inside. For example, they're in a relationship and probably they're deep in addiction. They probably abuse certain drugs. Maybe it could be men who are deep in pornography, and they are not able to reveal it to their wives, and it is actually affecting even their intimacy. But if you keep a secret, one thing, it will keep on destroying you. But the moment you reveal something, a secret, you have another person who joins you to fight that issue that could be hurting you. Now the thing is, I will tell everybody, when somebody comes up and tells you a secret that they have been keeping, that means that person is looking for somebody who they can lean on, who they can be supported by. And you need to realize that if somebody has opened up to you a past they had, then they have found value in you. And instead of using that opportunity to destroy, use that opportunity to build the other person. Yes.
So we're talking about now revealing the secrets. What are some of the poor times to share a secret with your partner?
Of course, we say in communication there are principles, we say. Of course, you know, there are people who take advantage when somebody is leaving the house. That's the time they know he won't come back. By the way, si kwambia niko na mtoto. And probably somebody is going for studies when they are just about to leave at the airport for 1 year. Now, I think when somebody is leaving, anytime somebody is leaving, or when somebody has come in back from work, at that moment they are tired and they can make a wrong decision. You may tell somebody, they say, you know, I hadn't told you that I had a big loan, and it is so huge and the guys are pursuing me. You will find the reaction that may happen may be negative.
Yeah.
So I think it is to look for an opportunity when you're having a very peaceful moment, a very good time together, and you say, I just want to share something that has been bothering me. You have put that person is in a very good condition to listen objectively. But when a person is tired, most likely they may end up making the wrong decision or saying words that may affect you forever or even for a long while. So those are some of the two moments, and I know Dr. Jane may add other moments.
The ball has been thrown to your court.
Yeah, I think I keep telling people, create the moment. Create a moment, and also gauge. Have you been having issues? Is it at a moment when you have just disagreed on who is to pay the landlord? At the right moment, create the moment. And after you've created the moment, reach out and tell the person, I've had something to tell you. And this is ABCD, and it is as is. You know? And when you choose to speak the truth, which I always second, always speak the truth. Always. Let there always be total honesty. When you choose to speak that truth, be ready for two reactions.
Okay. Which are?
Number one, the person may be sympathetic and empathize with you. Or number two, the person may be angry and use words that you didn't expect. Don't always expect that this person will be so ready for what you're about to say and that they are going to embrace it very well. But at the end of the day, it helps you who is carrying the burden and the weight. When you let go of the weight, to get lighter. So expect that there may be a journey after that, or expect that he may walk with you. There may be a journey where the two of you are trying to make it together, or he may walk with you, or she may walk with you to help you become that person. But when there is healing, because the moment you talk, there is healing. The moment you get that healing, then you're able to know, wow, now I can reach the next level. Most people are oppressed in relationships in so many ways because of baggages of things that they conceal. If at all they could open up their mouth and just tell their partner, this is it, and if there is need for forgiveness, let's walk through the journey of forgiveness. I've never heard of the first case where somebody went and opened up to a partner and the partner chose to leave them. No. Reactions are different, but somehow, after everything, there is good healing.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to give us some practical examples, probably? I understand you're also counselors.
Yeah.
You have some interesting real-life experiences.
Many. Oh, so many. We do this like
Pick one.
Yeah, for example, I know of a man who came to see me, name of course withheld. And for a long time he had a family with several children. But would get home very early. And he said he was getting tired of hiding all this from the wife. That he has yet another, and he wanted to celebrate. The son had performed very well. And you know what? They had been married for, I think, 20-something years, I won't name. And this other one was like 18 years. So you see, it's like she had a co-wife. So to come and say, you know what, you have a co-wife, for him, it was like, I'm relieved. For the wife, it was like, now, what do you mean? Do you want to continue with her? Why are you telling me all this? And they had to work out parameters. I know of a case of that almost turned very bad, where a lady where a man sent the brother to tell the lady, I already have a child with somebody XYZ. And when the lady was told, she almost became suicidal. So they had to come to us and we had a conversation with them. It was a journey. But today they are healed and they are very happy. So at the end of the day, when you confess your misgivings, when you confess them, there is always healing.
Okay.
Because people are getting sick. And if you discover a lot of people at a certain time, they're getting very sick. Why? And not the actual attack diseases. These ones we call psychosomatic. The diseases of the mind. Because of the things they are trying to safeguard, and they've safeguarded for so long. They're so careful with their conversation. Peradventure, these information spills. They're always on the guard. The guard is so high. And if anybody mentions anything with that area, there is an adrenaline rush. And you find people living so unwell. So I always say, talk the absolute truth. And usually engage a counselor when you know the reactions may be counter.
Do you do this together as a couple?
At times
there are times we handle counseling together, because there are people who will say, we want to see both of you.
Okay.
And the others will just say, I want to see you alone. And we allow them, because you find sometimes somebody wants just to come, somebody wants just to come and pour out their mind 100%. This is what I am. This is what I have done. This is what has messed me up. I just want to tell you the truth. First, advise me on how to handle this journey. Do I need to bring my wife into the picture, or do I need to bring my husband in the picture? And at that time, you advise that person. Because I discover a lot of people are getting sick, or they are so mentally burdened simply because they have nobody to pour to. And you know, where there is multitude of counselors, there is safety. When you can find people who can counsel you, you'll find you are able to make the right decision. But now, when you stay with something on your own, it keeps on eating on you. It keeps on eating on you. And that's what happens to a lot of people. They are carrying burdens, and they're about to explode simply because they want to tell nobody. And so we usually recommend, don't look at a counselor and see it like when you go to a counselor is a sign of weakness. It is actually a sign of strength. Because a wise person will look for wise counsel. But if you're not looking for wise counsel, you will remain at the same level of your own counselor. And one person said that if you are your own counselor, then you are most likely have a fool for a counselor.
Okay.
So seek counsel.
I'll stay with you, Dr. Julia. So, do you have any practical example as well? One that you handled alone, separately from Dr. Jane?
Yeah, there's a case. I remember a young couple came to me, and they were like, now the young man went out somewhere for a trip and happens to meet a lady they used to be friends with, and things happened. And out of that, a baby came forth. And so he came to see me because he was like, do I tell my wife? Because this has happened. And he explained his heart and he said, sincerely, that was as part of a moment where you go to a place, you meet somebody and it is a one night. But this one night turns out to be, but I call your wife, call your wife, tell her the truth. And being a person who was also in charge, a young couple that are in charge, they were like, now do we tell our parents? If I tell my parents, they will never trust me again. Most likely they will tell us to separate. I said, if you keep it quiet, one way or another that girl will come and she will say that she has your baby, and you'll either have to live a life of cover-up or you tell, or you live a life of shame. So you'd rather step. And I always say this. In fact, that's what I told them. Your parents cannot eat you. You know, they cannot eat you and make your meal and finish you. They may be angry, but eventually they may end up giving you the wisdom that you need. And that's what they did. He told the wife. The wife, of course, was bitter, was angry, but she was committed to making the marriage work. And later they went to the parents. Now, the beautiful thing, they were able to face this young lady together. And they say, we are ready, because she was calling for a lot of things. We are ready to take care of that child, two of us. And do you know the most amazing thing? That story ended up there. The lady was actually, the truth was that the lady was actually not pregnant by this man. But she had seen as part of a moment where she would frame a person. So when the ladies, they said, okay, we need a DNA and all that. She vanished. Simply because a truth was revealed. They came and spoke the truth. So there are some people who are going through trouble. Now I thought to see wow. See wow.
Okay, Dr. Jane, let me engage you. So we are past that stage now, and trust has been broken. So what next?
Now, when trust is broken, the next thing to do is there are two options at this stage. And the options are determined by the person who is wounded. They make a choice on whether, do I allow myself to go through the process of healing? Do I allow myself to go through the process with this person? Will I be able to love this person again? Because like women, we deal with a lot of emotions. So at that point, the pain and everything. So there's some people who will ask for separation. They say, I want to be separated for a while. I want to think over this matter. There are others who will say, it's okay, don't talk to me. Wacha tukae kwa nyumba moja until I'm able to digest the whole of this information. The others who will say, I want a divorce. You've been unfaithful. Whether a man or a woman. And there are many who will say, after all this, even those who shout for a divorce, others will almost tend to get violent, others will want to depart. At the end of the day, all of them look for a healing. Because the minute you speak, and it is you who brought it up, the truth is this, you will trust that person, that there is an end to this matter. The problem comes when you discover, and you bring it up to somebody, that I discovered there was something happening. That's a different story. But when somebody brings themselves up, usually there is more grace for healing and reconciliation. So I think what happens from there now is about the journey of personal counseling, especially the wounded person, to rebuild back the trust. And we equip the partner who has done the wrong, who had that secret that was hurting for so long. We equip them on what to expect. Number one, there are moments the other partner will be very angry. There are moments they'll not want to see them. There are moments there'll be this and the other, and the seasons, because it goes seasonally. And then at the end of the day, they come to terms. Others will want actually even to involve the children. If the children are mature, some will want to involve the parents. So in this case, we usually tell them, involve only the counselor. When the two of you are healed and you're okay, decide if you want to involve any other person. And yes, at times the children may have to be involved if there was already another family that's your step family, and you don't want to know them. And in the future, somehow, I keep telling them, instead of waiting until the day the Lord calls you home, and suddenly there are some young people looking exactly like your father, I would rather the father spoke earlier. But if there are no other products of that relationship, I feel it should not spill beyond to the children, to the relatives. At times you give them food to talk and they love it. So just work it amongst yourself. And you who has said you did something wrong and now you're okay, you have turned around your books, keep the straight and the narrow. Because there are many couples who have had very painful situations and they've come forth very strong, and today actually they strengthen others. Yeah, so I don't encourage it to happen.
Okay.
But should it have happened, there isn't much you can do about it, but you can heal the situation. Yeah.
That's awesome, because we are now running out of time. Dr. Julius, your final remarks.
One thing I'll say is that as much as you can, develop a culture of being truthful to your spouse. And if you are the other partner, you are the other partner, be a person who can be trusted with information, because anyone will run where they know that the information will not be used against them. The reason why many people are quiet is because they know that what they say may be used against them. So be that person who you will not use what you are told against the person who told you.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jen.
Yeah, I'll also say it is workable. Don't die with secrets. Don't kill yourself with secrets. See that partner as a friend. And as a friend who is ready to forgive. And once you've made a mistake, don't go back to it. The essence in life is the transformation. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. And I'm sure our viewers would want to know how to reach you professionally.
You can always reach us on, we have our Facebook page, which is very active, Dr. Julius and Dr. Jane Kimani.
Okay.
If you have any question, throw it there, and we'll be able to answer your question.
Yes.
Phone numbers, probably.
Okay. I'll give my BShare phone number 0722 699 890.
Okay.
0722 699 890.
Well, sawa. Thank you very much, Dr. Julius, Dr. Jane, for gracing our show this morning. Asante sana.
Asante.
So, my colleague or co-host rather,